On September the 11th, 2001, the world watched in awe and disbelief as two jets were flown into the World Trade Center in New York. In the most spectacular assault seen in the US, 19 al-Qaeda members hijacked 4 planes, the third was flown into the Pentagon, and the fourth crashed in Pennsylvania. Almost 3,000 people were killed. But in the subsequent years, hundreds of thousands would be killed as a result of the changes in US and other government policies in a post-9/11 world. The initial retaliation for the attacks was the invasion of Afghanistan in October that same year. The stated goal was to dismantle the al-Qaeda network and end its use of Afghanistan as a base. The US also wanted to remove the Taliban government from power, create a democratic state, and capture, dead or alive, the al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden. But 10 years later, not many of those goals had been achieved. Osama bin Laden was still on the run. The Taliban still controlled much of Afghanistan. As for democracy in Afghanistan, the newly installed Hamid Karzai-led government, which was plagued with inadequacies and allegations of corruption, struggled to control the capital, with President Karzai mockingly referred to as the mayor of Kabul. The US and NATO-led battle with the Taliban raged on. In the meantime, however, the US waged a new war. Under what many now describe as the guise of weapons of mass destruction, the US had managed to secure the backing of the UK in its 2003 invasion and subsequent 5-year war in Iraq. The US and British governments will still argue that the removal of Saddam Hussein in Iraq and the ousting of the Taliban in Afghanistan were necessary as part of the global war on terror. They also reiterate that those regimes were incredibly brutal and in stark conflict with democratic values. But for many, the legacy of those conflicts is the estimated 1.5 million civilian deaths. It's also the current insecurity of the world we live in, which has arguably become a less safe place. The conflict in Afghanistan continues, as does the almost daily bomb attacks in Iraq, which before the invasion was a stranger to sectarian violence.
We've got a great weapon on our side, and that is freedom.
The post-9/11 war on terror was about eliminating the threat of terrorism and securing values like liberty and freedom, which the US says it stands for. But since then, we've seen a series of terror attacks across Europe and the rest of the world, where the perpetrators have cited the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq as the motivation for their actions. Then there's the infamous Guantanamo Bay prison camp and similar facilities, which cause many to question whether the US and its allies can claim to be advocates of liberty and human rights, when countless reports of abuse, illegal detention and torture have emerged.
I can report to the American
Earlier
people
this year, America claimed what's perhaps its biggest victory in the war on terror, when Osama bin Laden was found and killed by US Navy SEALs in Pakistan. While bin Laden's death was heralded as the end of a chapter in the war, questions emerge. What happens next? Is the war on terror over? Can it ever be?